A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to FullFibre Wacky Races number 6. Woo! Come on! So, a couple of Zen things first, very quickly. Our purpose: do right for people and planet, and it's our birthday. We're 30 years old. We're the oldest ISP in the UK, the first to celebrate its 30th birthday. I founded the company all the way back in September 1995. Anyway, thank you. Let's get on to the FullFibre Wacky Races. The last edition of this was my last slide. I said, the world is your FullFibre oyster. It's the best free market infrastructure competition that I've seen in 30 years. So let's make the most of it and enjoy the journey. I also said, let's make hay while the sun shines. And the sun certainly is shining here in London today during this period of change and opportunity. In terms of how Zen is making hay while the sun shines, we set a bold ambition to become the UK's altnet aggregator of choice. When I talked about that last time, it really was more of an ambition than reality, but I can say with confidence now that the ambition is becoming reality. I'm super happy about that. The reality today is that if you are a channel partner or ISP connected to the Zen Fibre Hub, you can get access to Openreach, CityFibre, Truly, Freedom Fibre, ITS, and it's time for me to announce our latest altnet partnership. And in the spirit of audience participation, I'd like you to have a guess who it is. And here's the clue. It is indeed. This is Kingston on Hull. It's MS3. We've just signed this Tuesday this week. We signed a contract, me and Guy Miller. MS3's got 212,500 ready for service homes and businesses across Hull, North Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire, and we are very busy integrating network and systems and hoping to launch early next year. We've also agreed heads of terms with another altnet. We're working on a contract. We're busy integrating network and systems, and we're also hoping to launch that early next year. Planning to announce around about November time as soon as the contract's signed, and we are in discussions with others. Now, because this is the Wacky Races, I always like to show a race update. I do this in terms of ready for service premises. Far out in the lead, number 1, Openreach, 20 million premises. They've just hit that milestone. Absolutely incredible. Well done, Openreach, and partnered with Zen in the Fibre Hub. Next is VMO2 and nexfibre with 7.1 million. 2.4 of that is nexfibre, around about 4.7 VMO2. Number 3, CityFibre, 4.3 million, partnered with Zen in the Fibre Hub. Netomnia and Brisk next with 2.7 million. Hyperoptic, 1.9 million. Community Fibre, 1.5 million. Gigaclear, 612,000. FullFibre and Zzoomm just behind at 602,000. ITS is in there, round about 500,000. I've put a star because ITS is, I'm not really comparing apples with apples here. ITS is an unusual altnet compared with the others in that it is B2B only and it builds the last bit of the network on demand. Having said that, there's about 500,000 businesses in the UK that can connect to the ITS network. So there they are up on the chart. Number 10 is Truly, 448k. Partnered with Zen in the Fibre Hub. Freedom Fibre, so I've skipped a few because I wanted to show you the ones we partnered with. Freedom Fibre at position 17, 245k. And at position 19, as of Tuesday, MS3, 213k. Right, this is Clash of the Titans. So let's introduce you to the Titans. Of course, the incumbent Openreach is in there. And the other 3 are the 3 companies that I think are most likely to drive the consolidation in the altnet space. There's VMO2 nexfibre, CityFibre, and Netomnia Brisk. So let's hear from those titans. What have they got to say about consolidation? Let's start with Jeremy Chelot, CEO of Netomnia, who is a good chess player and an even better FullFibre chess player. Jeremy said, We have 2.7 million RFS, 380k customers, and are the second largest altnet, but the number one altnet in RFS growth, 1 million a year, and the number one ISP in customer growth. We beat Vodafone in Q2 with 54k net adds. I still believe that consolidation in the UK will be either from nexfibre, CityFibre or Netomnia. The smaller altnets will have to consolidate on one of those three platforms, and those three will decide whether the UK has 2 or 3 national challengers at the end of the decade. The smaller altnets are rushing to cash flow positive, to trade at a higher multiple or find a way to exit. I believe there is no exit for them until consolidation happens. Fun times ahead. Now let's hear from the third biggest full fibre network in the UK, CityFibre. Currently over 4.6 million RFS, 4.3 million of those ready for service. Approaching 725,000 consumer customers, that's about 17% market penetration, threefold increase in order rate this year, over 30% penetration they claim in older cohorts, and CityFibre's ambition is to be the UK's wholesale network of choice, serving all sectors of the market with the best products, service and economics across a nationwide footprint of at least 8 million premises. Here's a new CEO, Simon Holden, who said, "We operate a mature wholesale-only model. We avoid competing with our customers, and we have a proven track record of successful acquisition and rapid integration. We now have all major independent ISPs on the network, representing about 50% of the consumer broadband market, and they perform more than 2 times better on our network than they do on Openreach. We've been EBITDA profitable for 18 months, and our financial performance is accelerating fast. We recently secured 2.3 billion in financing, more than all altnets combined in the preceding 18 months. This demonstrates high confidence in our model and provides us with the firepower to lead consolidation in the market." While undeniably exciting, this market is not a spectator sport. It's a shared responsibility to ensure that competition not only emerges, but that it becomes established. A scale wholesale challenger to BT Openreach is central to that outcome, and industry must work together to achieve it. Thank you, Simon. Next up, VMO2 and nexfibre. A little reminder about this model. So VMO2 have got 16.2 million premises. They're about 30% through upgrading that infrastructure to full fibre. The idea was for nexfibre to build another 5 to 7 million premises around that in semi-urban to semi-rural areas, making a total footprint of 23 million by 2028. But in May this year, nexfibre scaled back to 2.5 million by the end of this year, and VMO2 put their wholesale netco plans on hold. Now, CEO of nexfibre, Rajiv Datta, told me in June that the 2025 build plan is being optimised to reflect the fact that it doesn't make sense to overbuild other alternative network infrastructure. We believe that our best long-term solution would be for us to utilise our financial firepower to drive consolidation in this very fragmented market. Nothing has changed in terms of our ambition to create a national scale wholesale platform. We might just get there in a different way. And on Monday this week, Rajiv gave me this update. nexfibre's network has now passed more than 2.4 million prems. giffgaff is rolling out across the network. Material market consolidation is yet to begin. However, the pace of discussion is increasing. Our financial firepower remains on standby for the right moment. Thank you, Rajiv. Number one, Openreach. 20 million RFS is actually slightly ahead of Openreach's plan. Openreach now has 7.5 million customers, and we can see Openreach's market penetration creeping up, now at 38%. Last time I presented it was 36%. The goal is 25 million by Christmas next year, and Clive said they will do that with a few weeks to spare, subject to CapEx. The build will slow down after that. The end goal is to get to 30 million. and that is subject to the right investment environment, particularly when it comes to policy and regulation. So all eyes on Ofcom's Telecoms Access Review being supportive of that, as well as the UK government's role in easing access to multi-dwelling units, double exclamation mark. Building faster than any European country has ever done before. Openreach will build 5 million in its current financial year, and just last week they moved 52,000 onto FullFibre. Clive said we really feel competition is fierce out there, and we can defend much more effectively on fibre. We've stepped up our service performance even more with our NPS and Trustpilot scores at record highs. Remember, we're the only network provider that is subject to Ofcom quality of service metrics. I asked Clive about the altnets, and he has a view that altnet economics are perplexing. They're not sustainable in the long term. And his question is, does revenue cover the interest payments on their debt? And if you look around, certainly the answer is no in some cases. So let's dive a bit deeper into that, into something that's a bit more controversial. This was supplied to me by someone who is very well respected and connected and knowledgeable in the industry, but who would like to remain anonymous. He said, consolidation is the name of the poker game, and those at the table are those that have expressed a view that they want to be the consolidators. The analogy would be that the number of chips in front of each player would represent the size of their footprint. As such, a player with a lot of chips, footprint in front of them, would look to be strong in their ambition to be a consolidator. However, the cards they hold will dictate how well they will likely fare at winning the game and achieving their stated objective. These cards will include trump cards, which are equity value likely in or out of the money, debt likely covered or not, and ability to raise more money for growth and acquisition rather than just to fund existing operations. Mid-value cards, EBITDA performance, debt levels and servicing costs, the build cost per premise, and the wholesale partner's size. And a lower value card is homes connected penetration rates. So you may have a player with large stack of chips who's talking the talk on consolidation. However, they may have acquired those chips at the detriment of the trump cards today. As such, they're likely only able to consolidate through cashless mergers and would likely only attract new partners that are in a similar position to them, which does not massively strengthen their overall cards, just a larger pile of chips. In short, a number of the players with large chip piles are in a far worse position than they dare let on and are essentially bluffing in the game and hoping to achieve cashless mergers using just their size as the main leverage point, as they actually have no cash to do otherwise. Well, let's move on from that opinion and go into the countryside and talk to three of our rural altnets. Let's start off with Quickline Communications. Here's Sean Royce, the CEO, who says 2 models are now emerging in scale in low-cost competitive urban semi-urban areas and operators in higher cost rural communities with less competition, often subsidy-backed, such as Quickline. We're now seeing altnets in both models reaching EBITDA break-even, but stronger cost discipline and customer focus is still essential to maximise invested capital. Some less well-funded players may need to consolidate soon, yet I firmly believe scale will be critical across both models if we are to deliver long-term resilience and value for customers and investors alike. Here is Nathan Rundle, CEO of Gigaclear. We're working with government and regulator to ensure that our voice is heard. We're calling for fairer access to existing infrastructure, which will drive collaboration between providers, realistic geographical definitions of areas of the country that are classed as rural, and the ability for altnets to be included in the copper switch-off timetable. These factors will ensure the economic environment remains attractive for investors and will mean that altnets are recognised for the work they have done and the work that crucially remains if rollout targets are to be met. And the final altnet is, here's Tom Rigg from Barn. Full fibre coverage is increasing at pace, which is amazing to see and just what our economy needs. However, the challenges we all face in bringing full fibre to some of the deepest rural areas are still present and becoming ever more persistent. There's still a long way to go until you can look around the room and confidently say that there's a solution to get to everyone. Until that point, we all better keep going. So thank you. Here is James Warner, Group CEO of FullFibre and Zzoomm. And as an industry, we've proven we can build a network. We've proven we can get the customers, and true profitability is now within touching distance for some, just not for all. Debt and subscale networks with poor capital management will continue to burden some players until corrective action is taken. Here is Graeme Oxby of London-based CommunityFibre. Overall, industry seems still to be focused on my network is bigger than yours, when the only important thing is profitable revenue growth, be it direct or wholesale, or both together. And here's our new partner, MS3. Guy Miller said, the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are coming together slowly with CityFibre's fundraise, Virgin strategic review coming to a head, and most altnets switching to commercialisation. However, it's still very hard to put a jigsaw together when nobody knows what the final picture is supposed to look like. This is now leading to more altnets delaying exit and focusing on running successful commercial operations instead, something which is quite possibly long overdue in some cases. And the last altnet commentary I got is from Nathan Vautier, the CEO of Freedom Fibre, who told me, aside from the build dynamic in the industry wacky races, there is the ever-present topic of M&A. With cash looking like it will remain expensive for a longer time, M&A is key to enable scale through already deployed capital. Genuinely integrating those companies already merged is critical to enabling more consolidation, and those that integrate fast have a better chance of being in the winning pack as the wacky races plays out. So the final commentary I wanted to share is actually to give a bit of a different perspective from the regulator. And here is Natalie Black, the Group Director Networks and Communications at Ofcom, who told me, in 2019, just 7% of UK homes and offices could access full fibre broadband. Today, that figure is 75%. This progress is no accident. 2021 to 26 review gave long-term investors the certainty and stability they need, and our current telecoms access review is about finishing the job well. Our aim is simple: promote competition where viable, protect customers where essential, and support investment where it is needed most. That includes continued access to ducts and poles, pragmatic rural rollout, and entry-level price safeguards. According to Ofcom, this is the final furlong where collaboration counts. Together, industry, government, and regulator can take Britain to near ubiquitous full fibre coverage. So that is everything in 20 minutes. I want to leave you with this closing thought, which is the full fibre wacky races are the trials and tribulations of free market competition working well in a healthy market, and that is a very good thing. Thank you very much. Okay.